Welcome, children of God, to my channel, Lady of Victory Ministries. My name is Laura. I just want to welcome you here, and if you're brand new, welcome to the family. It's great to have you here. I do want to say that this is another portion of my testimony that I'm going to be releasing. I am trying to release them in an order of occurrence and timeliness. So if you haven't yet, or if you are new here, watch my previous testimonies. Please do so before this one, just so you can kind of be up to speed of what's going on with this part of the testimony, because this is just one block of my entire life's testimony that I will be releasing. So you'll easily be able to find it because I will have it titled on their testimony. Where I left off was the spirit of suicide that had come over me. I realized I didn't leave a time frame or date, so that happened right after Mom died. April of 2011 is when I felt the need to just leave this world. And I also mentioned that my boyfriend had come over to console me one night when I was ready to just end it all that night. But he came and he consoled me, at least temporarily, for me to get over it and not do it that night at least. So that's kind of where I left off. So the story begins with him as well. So Brian, we'll call him Brian. April of 2011, our anniversary, he proposed on April 15th. That was our 3-year anniversary. We ended up staying together for about 3 more months until I decided to end it. Now you have to remember, I was not in my right mind because I was going through a lot of depression, and I still was battling, like I didn't really want to off myself anymore, but the spirit of suicide was still there. I wasn't delivered from it. It was still really heavily influencing my decisions. I was very impulsive. But with this decision that I made, I will say it's twofold. It was both the Holy Spirit and my flesh. So I will start with the Holy Spirit first. Us as women, we always dream of our dream weddings. I shouldn't say every woman, but a lot of us. I know me. I had a wedding dress at age 5. I always dreamed, I'm a hopeless romantic, I always dreamed of my wedding day. So I think me getting engaged to him was more or less that. We had been together 3 years, so it made sense. I loved him, so it made sense. And then he got me my dream ring. My dream ring, it was a round cut solitaire, huge, massive, lots of money. It was easy for him to get a discount on because I worked at a fine jewelry store. I picked out like the best ring in the case, and he didn't have good credit, so he put it on layaway. He probably spent a whole year paying on that, and I knew it. And I didn't doubt anything during that time at all. It wasn't until I had that ring on my finger after he proposed that I was like, whoa, this is real. Like, yeah, I have the whole wedding and the wedding ceremony in my head. And what are my flowers going to look like? And my dress is going to look like, I'm just planning for that day. Not looking at what it's going to look like in the future. And the Holy Spirit came over me and was like, he's not it. And I just remember, like, whoa. Because he was a cheater. He did abuse me one time. And, he was just obsessed with women in general. So I'm debating whether I want to release a testimony about him. Because, he's not a good dude. He's married now, but I still hear from him on the regular, if you get my drift. He just texted me last month. So it's like, no matter how many times I tell him to leave me alone, you have a family, you got a wife. That's just his spirit. He needs delivered from a lot of things. So, but we also were on and off for 9 years of our lives before all this. So, he's just got a lot of things to work through. He just does. So pray for him. But anyway, it wasn't until that moment, 3 months in, I had the ring on my finger, and I'm just like, that's who I'm marrying. the person that he is, he's not going to magically change the second we walk down the aisle. So that kind of woke me up, and I was like, yeah, I have to end this. He's not going to change. He's still a cheater. He abused me once, he could do it again. And we couldn't go anywhere without running into somebody that he had slept with. We'd see a girl and hey, and I'd be like, oh, did you sleep with her? Why do you always ask that? So the answer is yes. It was like that thing. But I will say there was a fleshly reason of why I also ended it. His best friend was very attractive. I always kind of like had a crush on him. Truth be told, before I met Brian, I wanted to date his best friend before Brian. Like, I really, really liked his best friend, like a lot. We'll call him Justin. He's my type. Whereas Brian, like personality-wise and the interest he was, but like physically he wasn't my type. But Justin was. Long hair, tattoos, thick-rimmed glasses, had the same taste in music. Like, he was a gamer dude. And like, I liked gamer guys back then. I don't now. But he was my dream guy. But he had a girlfriend, and things just didn't work out that way. And I ended up being with Brian after my high school sweetheart. So I just took a leap of faith and was like, well, God is telling me that I shouldn't be with him. His best friend Justin's single. Yep, I did. I went after his best friend. Nothing came of it long term. We entertained each other for a short time, but nothing long term happened. Surprise! But yeah, I definitely have a type, because I definitely dated 2 more guys after him that were like clones of him. So yeah. So then I want to say, like, how I said in my previous word that I had been called a homie hopper, or I was like a serial monogamist? Yeah. So, I do want to say, if you want to call me a whore, I wasn't in the fact that I was out picking up dudes randomly with strangers, or like, today's modern day OnlyFans. That wasn't my style. I was a serial monogamist. If I was interested in a guy, I was pursuing it long term, whether or not it turned into anything. That's how I wanted it to be. Well, so after that didn't work out with Justin, I did have 2 between summer of 2011 and November of 2011. I had 2 boyfriends. I don't want to say they're serious because they didn't last long. 2 boyfriends in between that time frame. Each lasted a month. So I went from him to him, and now we're moving on to the worst guy I ever dated in my entire life. November of 2011. So this was a guy, this is what the testimony is about, him. I just had to get you there, kind of up to speed, fill in the couple month gaps there. So when I met him, I was still living at home in the house that my dad eventually kicked me out of. And he was living with his best friend's family. So we were both living like with parental figures. Well, actually my dad had already moved out, but you get my drift. So we already knew each other because we both worked in the mall. I had met him when I worked at Macy's. So I worked at Macy's with my mom, and he worked at Hot Topic. So we had already met in passing, but like he's not my type. I wasn't attracted to him. I didn't ever look at him in any way whatsoever. But one day he just like popped up in my DMs on Facebook, and he was that funny guy. And so he had made some funny comment and made me laugh, and we just got to chit-chatting, and he ended up asking me out. And the first date we went on, he's a musician, okay? I like musicians. So his was going to a show of his. Our first date was me going into attendance of seeing him play. It was an acoustic show with his best friend. And, you know, really interesting because his family was there. So I'm meeting his family from the get-go, like on our first date. Mom was there. His best friend's parents were there. And just very interesting off the bat. But, you know, he is a narcissist, so this is how narcissists operate. They rush real quick. You know, they know what they want, and then they want to get you in quick before you figure them out. But yeah, so I go to this date, and then we start dating. So this is starting November of 2011, and literally we only date for like 3 months. Because I figure out real quickly that he's just not a good dude. He was very misogynistic. Like I'm a trad girl here. Like I'm a girl who I believe I'm very old school, 1950s old school. Like my end goal is I would love to be able to be at home with my children, not have to go to work, and make meals for my family and my husband and be the helpmate. That's how God ordained it biblically. But he had a different view of it. He was like, you have to do this. You know, you are, I can't even think of the word. I thought of it earlier, but like, that's my role. That's what the word I was looking for. That's your role. You make me food. You feed me, you do this, you do that. Very misogynistic. So he wasn't even operating in a biblical, you know, essence of it either. Because biblically, you're supposed to be each other's helpmate. Not you do it all. He was abusive. He didn't physically harm me yet. I'll get to that. But he was just very verbally abusive. I will never forget. It was like New Year's of 2011, 2012. And he wouldn't allow me to watch the ball drop. It was just me and him for whatever reason. We weren't with anybody else. But I was like, you know, it's just something I really, really want to do. Like, I want to watch the ball drop. And he forced me to watch this dumb movie. Like, he's a huge history buff. But it was, like, not even interesting history to me. It was, like, I enjoy history. But it was some boring movie that I did not care about. And he would not allow me to watch the ball drop. And then I remember him telling me, I'm hungry, go get us Taco Bell. Instead of being like, hey, I'm hungry, are you hungry? You want to go get Taco Bell together? You know, he was like, I'm hungry. Yeah, I'm hungry too. Okay, go get us Taco Bell. And being the idiot that I am, like, I remember I fought him on it. Like, no, like, you go get it. Like, playfully, like, you go get it. But he wasn't being playful. He's like, no, you go get it. And I was the idiot, and I freaking went and got that Taco Bell. Like, and, you know, I just quickly realized, like, it didn't take me very long to figure him out. 3 months. So we broke up. In this time frame, I go back to the ex-fiance, Brian. I realize he hasn't changed. That doesn't pan out. I date another guy who, he was a good guy. My dad really liked him. My dad thought that he was going to be my husband. He was the guy I dated when I attended my dad's wedding. And when I had my huge graduation party when I graduated college. So this was like summer of 2012. He was there. So we dated, you know, for a few months. Probably around 3 months as well. I liked him, but I just knew he wasn't it. But he was, you know, he was fun. He was a drinker like me. And so I should also add into all of this, I was a bar goer during all of this and attending house parties with beer pong. I wasn't a weed smoker yet until that summer of 2012. At that party where I got graped, I was dating that dude. I will call him Mark. I was dating Mark, the one who attended my dad's wedding with me. So he was not at that party, and in hindsight, I kind of wish that he was, because then that would have never happened. But he wasn't with that party. But he was like a partier like me during all that. Well, guess who comes swooping in because they don't like the fact that I've moved on? Uh, what did I say his name was? I have to make up names here. Alex. I didn't give him a name yet. The worst guy I ever dated. Alex. I didn't give him a name yet. We'll call him Alex. The worst dude I ever dated came back in and swooped in because he didn't like seeing me happy with somebody else. And what do? I go back to him. And I really made nice guy mad. And I don't blame him. He had every right to be mad at me. He's like, really? You choose him over me after everything that you told me about him? Because I did. I filled him in on everything. So then proceeded into the dark path down with Alex now. So when Alex came back in, I had already been kicked out of the house and I was in my apartment. So I was in my apartment. I didn't live with Mark, but he helped me move in. But I was in that apartment and I still remember Alex coming over to that apartment. I still picture him walking up. And we never even have the talk of like, should we live together? Do you want to move in? He just starts slowly moving his things in. Like he just starts moving in. And that's where the slippery slope happened. I should say, like, as far as aesthetically, he was not my type. There was this, okay, so in my hometown, there was this small section that was kind of like low-income white people. And they called it Little Kentucky. So if you can kind of picture of the residents who lived there, he was a proud, good old boy from Little Kentucky. He wasn't like a country boy, but he just dressed very like white trash, I guess. And I say this very humbly. I'm not judging anybody. I'm just saying this like so you can get a description of what he looked like. And he wasn't my type. He honestly like had bad teeth. He was short, had light hair, not dark hair. He was not tall, dark, and handsome. He did not fit the physical appearance. And then he turned out to be a D-bag on top of it. Like, but yeah, he was like very proud of that. He was a self-proclaimed music producer. He was a music artist, so I told you on our first date, I went and saw him play an acoustic show, but he played metal music. So he actually had an electric guitar that you would see, like, it was the shape of like something like Slash would play, or, you know, Marilyn Manson, it was like the spiky guitars. That's what he had for his metal guitar but he wasn't in a metal band. He played acoustic, but he could shred. He was good at shredding. I will give him that. He was very talented. But then he was a music producer for rap. He was all over the place. Not only with that, just in life. He was all over the place. So when we were dating, he was a server at a restaurant. Come to find out, he was sleeping with every single girl that worked there. And come to find out later on down the line, that's like normal culture for people who are serving jobs. They all sleep with each other. They all cheat on each other. There's no point in having a boyfriend or girlfriend because you're going to be sleeping with everybody in there. And this was confirmed to me by his best friend later on too. Like I asked him, was Alex? He won't watch this anyway. Was Alex really cheating on me this entire time? And he was like, oh yeah. I'm like, thanks for being a friend. So yeah, there was that. And then when he was slowly living with me, moving in his stuff, there was just signs. There was just signs of little things. Like, I'm not one to go through people's phones. That's just not me. That's not my style. But if you give me a reason to believe that you're being unfaithful, I'm going to go looking for stuff. So I went through his phone. There was a picture of his eggplant on his phone. And, I called him out on it. I'll never forget. He would... Yeah, I won't go there. There's another story I just thought about with him. So I will touch on that. But I found the picture in his phone, And he says, oh, that's not mine. Bro, you're telling me you got another dude's schlong on your phone? Okay, you gay? Like, get real here. And so then he's like, okay. You know, he changes his story. And he says, oh, well, I took that picture for you. I just forgot to send it to you. Oh, no. Before that, when I said, he said it wasn't his. I said, that's my shower curtain. That's our shower curtain. That's yours. So he got caught in his lie. And then that's when he said, well, I was going to send it to you, but I forgot. What dude in the moment is going to take the picture but then forget to send it? Boy, you sending it to somebody else. Like, I knew. Like, I wasn't stupid. Like, I fully saw through all of that. But I stayed with him. Through all of that. There was confirmation after confirmation all the time. There was another time I found naked pictures of the girl that he dated before me on his phone. And then to top it all off, we would always fight about these things. He would always accuse me of cheating when he was the one who was cheating. And we would have screaming matches. So in the apartment that we lived in, it had very thin paper walls. And there was a couple who lived next to us. I swear, if it wasn't us one day screaming and hollering at each other, it was them the next day screaming and hollering at each other. Then us, then them. I'm like, boy, we got some toxicity going on here. Like, it was constantly back and forth, either us or them screaming. And you could hear everything. He'd punch holes in my wall. You know, like those Kyle memes of dudes that punch holes in the wall? Yeah, that was him. He'd get really angry and punch holes in the wall. And then the worst thing that he ever did was he'd force me to have relations with him. I never counted it as rape because I was in a consensual relationship with him. I chose to be there. I chose to stay with him. We were in a relationship. But I just kind of want to paint you that picture of who he was. He would have my face down in a pillow while I'm crying my eyes out, and he didn't care. He was still doing his thing. So that's the person that I stayed with for 3 years. The most horrible human being I have ever dated in my entire life. You know, gaslighting, making you feel, when I would have physical proof of him cheating on me and calling him out on it, he'd gaslight me. I'm just making things up. I have no idea what I'm talking about, even though his best friends would confirm it. Oh, they don't know anything. They're not there. What are they talking about? They're just saying that because they want to sleep with you. You know, they're telling you that because they want you. Just nonsense like that. The craziest thing that ever happened as far I learned about the word narcissism during this time. So we first started dating in 2011, but broke up for 3 months. And then 2012, actually it was longer. It might have been 6 months we were broken up. Because it was around summertime of 2012 that we got back together. And then we stayed consistent from there. Actually, not even that. We'd break up and get back together too. Pure toxicity. But what I liked about it though was this shows my toxic traits. When we would break up temporarily, it would give me the upper hand. Because, he was caught in the wrong. He was caught being unfaithful. He was caught doing whatever, punching holes in my walls. He, sending eggplant pics. And we'd break up. But when we get back together, I had the upper hand. And I liked it. I could call the shots in the relationship now. And then he'd be on his best behavior for 3 months. And then the cycle would happen all over again, A typical narcissistic relationship, okay? And that's when I learned about that term, was around that time. And we dated until 2014, okay? But the one Christmas, so it had to have been either the Christmas of 2012 or 2013. You guys gotta wonder why I even was attracted to this guy in the first place, because I wasn't even physically attracted to him. I got to remember to touch back on that and why we even were attracted, why I was even attracted to him in the first place. But I want to get this Christmas story out. I wanted a PlayStation. I wanted a PlayStation for Christmas. I should say I bought everything. He lived with me. I paid the rent. I paid the utilities. He paid for zilch, zero, nada. He was a freeloader. Freeloading, awful boyfriend. And he was also the first guy I ever lived with. I never lived with a man before him. This was the first. And I guess I just loved him. So I just let him freeload. And I said I wanted a PlayStation for Christmas, a PlayStation 3. They had been out a while, so you could get them used. So I was looking at video game shops, or like the ones that you could sell it back to. But lo and behold, a friend of mine on Facebook was selling their PlayStation 3, and I just thought, oh, perfect timing. He's like, oh, okay, well, how about you hit him up, you meet up with him, and you get it, and I'll give you the money for it. Instead of him just doing it and trying to surprise me for Christmas. No. So I do that. It was an old coworker of mine. So I met up with him, I bought it, I paid for it. Christmas starts to roll around. He's not wrapping the present. He's not putting it under the tree. So I wrap it and put it under the tree. Do I ever see that money that he promises me that he is going to pay me back for this PlayStation? No. But you know what he does? So okay, just let me give you a recap here. I want the PlayStation. I have to do the meetup with the person, buy said PlayStation. I have to wrap the said PlayStation and place it under the tree. All for him to take a video of me opening up my present and for him to post on social media for the whole world to think that he is the best boyfriend ever because he bought his girlfriend this PlayStation 3. Yes, he did that. I know he didn't buy it, he didn't wrap it, but he got all the glory. He took a video and posted it on Facebook for my family and for his family and all of our friends to see what a great boyfriend he is because he got the present. He got me what I wanted, my dream gift for Christmas. That was him. Yeah. All for him. I also want to say we also were that couple. We were screaming and fighting. He's punching holes in the walls. But yet on social media and to the world, we're the happiest couple on earth. That was us. We'd go on movie dates. We'd go to park dates. We were both like nerds, like we like superhero movies, and we both were gamers, so we'd game. But we would post selfies and our couple photos all over social media like we were just the most happy couple. And I never once talked bad about him to anybody. So nobody would have any clue what was really going on. Because I did that with my ex-fiance, Brian. With us getting back together, back and forth, I would talk bad about him to my friends and my family, so they ended up hating him. They ended up disliking him, so I wasn't going to do that to Alex. So, of course, years after, we break up, people still had in their mind that he was, a great boyfriend that I had. This is honestly me publicly coming out about him for the first time because, yes, I told my friends and my family eventually of all the things I went through with him. But, there for a while, they'd be like, whatever happened to Alex? I really liked him. He had a mask. He was so good at, chumming it up with people. He makes me want to throw up. He not only did he just have bad teeth, but he had bad breath. And just the way he would be just chumming it up with everybody. He was that guy who he could fit in with everybody. He was like a chameleon. He could just make his way into any conversation, and everybody just thought he was just, oh, what a charmer. Yeah, that's all he was. That's all he was. And that's how he charmed me in the beginning. There was 2 reasons. We had a Christian background. We both grew up in Christian homes. And I remember one specific night of us bonding over the Christian shows we would watch as children. And how all of them like, you watch that too? I watch that too. Nobody knows that show. I know. Like, oh, we really bonded that night. And then also we both lost parents the same year. He lost his father and I lost my mother. So we were grieving together. Because really we had nothing else in common. Even our music taste, even though he was like a metalhead, he was like an old school metalhead. Like he really liked Megadeth. I don't listen to Megadeth. I don't like Megadeth. I'm a Metallica girl. But so like I was the girl like emo, post-hardcore, pop punk, and punk. Give me some Misfits and Ramones, yo. But he was like old school Metallica. He liked what I like to call butt rock or dad rock. He liked Nickelback, and I don't have anything against Nickelback, but to him that was what he listened to. Disturbed and like what's another band? I don't know, just your common dad rock things. Daughtry, that's who I was thinking of. 3 Doors Down, you know, just the dad rock. Some people call it butt rock. I think that's kind of funny, but I don't have anything against it. I will listen to it, but that's just, I just want to tell you our differences in what we chose to listen to. And he was also a huge rap fan, where I like some, but like our tastes in rap were different. And then, you know, he was a self-proclaimed rap producer. Oh my gosh. So yeah, before I get into that, we just bonded basically over our grief, losing parents, and then our Christian background. But I remember I had a 2-bedroom apartment, and he used the second room for his studio. So he had his one artist that would rap come over, and they would do their thing. You know, they'd work. He still to this day didn't make it. Like it was he would get mad at me because I wasn't supportive of him. But it was just because I knew like he's a narcissist. It'd be different if you actually had potential. But he worshipped himself. He literally thought he was going to be something. But not just that. It's difference between confidence and like believing in God. God's taking me somewhere. God's taking me here. No, he worshipped self. He worshipped himself. He was all about me. And, you know, what can you do for me? All his connections in his life were, what can you provide for me? You know, even his own best friend ended up being one of his people he produced. He was a country acoustic, his best friend. And he like produced his album that never went anywhere either. But, you know, like he just like, what can you do for me? All his connections. And it turns out that's how I was too. What can you do for me? You can provide me sexual relations and a free place to stay. That's all I was to him for 3 years. Because, you know, when I would call him out on things, how ungrateful I am, you know. Bro, I'm providing you free stay. And I provided him a free vacation to California. So there was, I told you that my dad and his wife, the evil stepmother, hightailed it out to California. So my dad and her were living out in California while me and my sister and our boyfriends decided to go on a trip to go visit Dad. Yeah, it was a free place to stay because they had a house there, but I'm sure Dad helped us. I'm sure Dad helped us some with money. I mean, I don't doubt that, but I had to pay for everything. Alex paid for nothing. He paid zilch, zero, nada. He had a free trip out to California. Now, my dad didn't live in Hollywood. He lived in Bakersfield, but we drove to Hollywood. Chinese theater, the Hollywood Walk of Fame with the stars. I got my picture with Johnny Depp, the Johnny Depp star, and his handprints, and Robert Downey Jr., and, this is before I woke up to all the celebrity nonsense, yeah. So, You know, I don't say I ever worship celebrities, but I would always say Johnny Depp was my future husband and things like that. But, you know, we went and saw all the sights of Hollywood. Beverly Hills. We went to Morro Bay and Pismo Beach. Laguna Beach. Ocean Avenue. I took a picture of Ocean Avenue, you know, with the Simple Plan song. There's a place off Ocean Avenue. Yeah, I went to all the sites with him, who didn't pay for a thing. And I want to tell you, he was a weed smoker. Well, guess what? We had to get on an airplane to get out to California, so he couldn't bring weed with him back then. This is 2000, I don't remember. It had to be 2013. So, you know, you can't take that on an airplane. So we went a whole vacation without his weed. So let me tell you what, he complained that entire trip because he didn't have his weed. So you have a free trip out to California, and we got to, you know what, we also went to the Redwood Forest, we went to Yellowstone, we went to Golden Gate, we went everywhere. We went to San Francisco, we went everywhere on that trip. And he didn't pay for a dime, but yet had the nerve to complain about not having weed. We're in California. Back in 2013, you can get it anywhere. I mean, it's a pretty liberal state. You can get it anywhere in California, even back in 2013. But his excuse was, no, then your dad will see me. Your dad can't see me, but you know, going there, and we're with him the whole time. Well, then stop complaining. I don't know what to tell you. That was him. He was literally the worst dude I ever dated in my entire life. Freeloaded the whole way, the whole ride, and then free trips. I had to buy my own Christmas presents. Yeah, and it came down to when I finally woke up. I literally had a light bulb go off. Kind of like I did with the ex-fiance, Brian. And you know, when girls are really, really angry when they break up with you, you know, the guys are always like, yeah, we're going to get back together, because women are filled with emotion. And when a woman is flipping out on you, she still cares. She still loves you. When a woman is going psychotically crazy, she still loves you. When a girl is calm and sedated, when she breaks up with you, yeah, you ain't ever getting her back. And that's what happened. So he got caught in a lie. So it wasn't the cheating, it wasn't the abuse, it wasn't the grape, it wasn't the fact that he freeloaded the whole entire time in our relationship. He got caught in a lie. Just a simple lie that literally made me go, I am done with this crap. I am done. I am done with this. He's never going to change. He lies about everything. It's not even just about women. He's lying about this thing. And that's when I was just like, I am done. And I'll never forget that. I packed up his things calmly. And it wasn't like I threw him out like you see in movies when girls are throwing the guy's things out the window. It wasn't even that. I folded his clothes. Folded them. I packed them up for him. I gathered all his things and put them by the front door for his brother to come and pick up. He had a dog, so you know, I didn't get to see the dog anymore, but that dog trashed my couch anyway. But it was a nice dog. It was a nice dog. You know, but yeah, so his brother came, got the things, got the dog, and that was it. But Alex still had my key. And you know what he did to return the key to me? He went in my house, for one. So he had the key. So even though he was kicked out, none of his belongings are there anymore, he still came back to return the key by going in my house. By going inside. And I had a dog too, okay? So I had a dog, I had a Yorkie. And he would have accidents, okay? So there was a pile of turds in the middle of the living room. There was a turd pile in the middle of the living room. Guess how Alex decided to return my key? Yeah, guessed it. He stuck it in the pile of poop. So he not only trespassed, he went into my house. He returned my key by leaving it in the pile of dog poop. Worst dude I ever dated in my life. So we dated from, on and off, like I told you. You know, because he was very toxic, very narcissistic. He would gaslight me over everything, like I was making everything up. I was making everything up. When I moved out of that apartment, I had a spackle and you know, what I would do beforehand, I would use picture frames and things to cover up the holes in the walls, because he would say, oh, I'll fix that, I'll fix the hole in the wall. And then he never would. Yeah, so I had holes to patch when I moved out of that apartment. Just a crazy, crazy time. Crazy time. And then after I had my son, he had the nerve to Facebook message me. You know, like, I think he was trying to weasel his way back in because I was doing well. I was doing well for myself at the time. But yeah, I shut that down real quick in my Facebook DMs. So like, we broke up in 2014 and he was in my DMs 3 years later, 2017. Yeah, get out of here, bro. But yeah, I don't know. All I know is he is married and he has children now. That's all I know. And I just pray to God that he's treating her well and not the same way that he treated me. That's all I can pray for her. That's all I can ask for. Because all I know is the girl he dated after me, she would come to my work. She walked by once with her friends and was like, that's Laura, while she was with Alex. And I'm just like, honey, I literally don't care. You can have him. Like, I broke up with him. He's a piece of work, yo. He, like, happy for you. Like, you don't need to come to me and make fun of me. Like, he's all yours, babe. All yours. And it wasn't until they ended, that she tried to reach out to me and try to be friends. She sent me a friend request, and I'm like, just because he treated you the same way he treated me, honey, doesn't mean I want to be friends with you. I don't want to bond with you over him. No thanks. So yeah, no, I didn't pursue that friendship. Because you talk bad about me the whole time. Why would I understand you were brainwashed just like I was brainwashed. That's what narcissists do. They brainwash you. But like, yeah, I still don't have any desire to be your friend. But I'm glad that she got away from him as well. I just hope that nothing bad happened to her. Like getting beat up, or because he never beat me up, but he'd force himself on me sexually. And he'd punch holes in the walls. And he'd throw stuff around the room. So like, I just pray that he never laid a hand on her, you know. But she's doing well. She moved on, I moved on. And then he even moved on. So I'll, let's all just pray for his wife and children. Just all say a prayer for his wife and children. But yeah, that's the next part of the story. You guys, it's the next story of the next serious relationship that happened after my ex-fiance Brian, post-traumatic experience. Now the next word's going to be fun because I'm going to get to dive into my crazy bar-going times with the girlfriends, and you guys will get to hear all the craziness that I did. So God bless you guys. I just want to tell you women who are out there too, real quick. I fully accept and take accountability for staying in that relationship. I was an idiot. I fully am aware of that. I was an idiot for staying with such a dude. I'm here to tell a story. And I'm here to tell you that you deserve better. You don't deserve that. If you're in a relationship exactly like that, get out now. They will never change. Unless they are redeemed by God. Unless they are born again in Christ and God completely renews their entire inner being and washes them clean of all that gunk, they won't change. Only God can change you. Okay? And if you're with a guy like that and he is not seeking Christ, you gotta get out now because he's not going to change. You can only just pray for him. You literally can only pray for him and get yourself to safety. Okay? So I want to take full accountability that I stayed, but that was the very first narcissistic relationship I had ever been in, so I didn't know that, that what happens, that girls tend to leave and come back. Like, I think the average is 7 times in an abusive relationship. They leave and come back like 7 times is the average. I don't think mine was up to 7 times, but it was a few of breaking up and getting back together over the course of 3 years. And I would always return with the love bombing and the breadcrumbing just for his mask to be removed later and his true form would show. And we'd repeat the cycle all over again. So this was the first narcissistic relationship I was ever in. So you have to understand that I was ignorant, I was naive, and I was not walking in biblical discernment whatsoever. I was living with the dude. Hello, I was sinning right there. We were having sexual relations. Hello, I was sinning right there. Like, had no intentions to marry. We never even had the talk of ever getting married. Ever. So, yeah, it was just a very toxic environment. So if you're in a situation like that, it's not going to get better. I'm going to tell you that right now. And you need to get yourself out, seek help. Email me if you need some guidance, biblical guidance. Not my personal email, ladyofvictoryministries@gmail.com. I would love to hear your story, and I would love to pray with you. And, I know it's hard. You can't just leave all the time. You can't always just leave, because sometimes things get worse once you leave, because then they get aggressive. And not all, but some narcissists, will attempt to, harm you. They could have guns or knives, and, they could try to harm you that way. Especially my dude who had my key still. He could have went in my house and be in hiding and attack me because I broke up with him. You just never know what they're capable of. Thank the Lord Jesus that he didn't. That all he did was stick it in dog poop. Sounds like that Amber Heard Johnny Depp story all over again. Seriously, the dudes I dated, it could become a movie. And I've honestly considered writing a book. But this is also to teach you ladies to walk in biblical discernment in your dating life as well. You have to pray to God. I was not praying to God and seeking his wisdom out while dating Alex. Okay? All right. Well, I love you guys, and I will see you in my next one. God bless.